This morning, we have a new CNN exclusive interview with the Department of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Speaking to our own Isaac Dover, Buttigieg is acknowledging some mistakes in his response to the East Palestine, Ohio train disaster, and he admits that he should have gone to the devastated community sooner. The accident created a political firestorm with Buttigieg at its center. The Transportation Secretary has become a target of an almost unrelenting onslaught of professional and very personal attacks from conservative media.
What is he, 150 pounds wet? Not even a size small construction vest fits this guy. It's draping off of him. He looks like he's wearing a costume.
If Pothole Pete seems lazy and out of touch to all of you, that is because it's true.
There's never been a cabinet secretary this flamboyantly incompetent and this so obviously uncaring, almost to the point of evil, if we're being honest about it.
Buttigieg is now hitting back, telling CNN it's really rich to see some of these folks, the former president, these Fox hosts who are literally lifelong card-carrying members of the East Coast elite who wouldn't know their way around a TJ Maxx if their life depended on it, to be presenting themselves as if they genuinely care about the forgotten middle of the country. You think Tucker Carlson knows the difference between TJ Maxx and Kohl's? CNN's Isaac Dover did that interview and joins us now, and he has the answer to that question. I'm just kidding.
I don't know if Tucker Carlson knows his way.
Just kidding. But it is significant that he's acknowledging the mistake, but also going on the offense a little bit.
Yeah, look, what we've seen over the last bunch of weeks here with the train derailment, and even before that, with the flight delays and cancellations at Southwest, anytime anything comes up about transportation, suddenly it's Pete Buttigieg's fault. And as I point out in the article, you don't have that when the price of eggs went up. It wasn't like Tom Vilsack, the agriculture secretary, was on the hot seat in this way. Buttigieg obviously ran for president and did pretty well. There's a lot of speculation he'll run for something more in the future. And that has made him a target. It's made him a target for the right. It's made him a target for the left, even on things that he doesn't really control. And in sitting with him, and we drove around in Kansas and Missouri on Monday of last week talking about this, you could see the frustration about it coming through. I asked him about about the criticism that he got in there. I asked him about whether he said, whether he went to East Palestine because Donald Trump went, and people who think that that's why he went. And he said, on the record to me, he said, that's bull. But use the full word there that I won't use to keep us from getting any fines.
No fines here on cable. But you know, it was also interesting in your piece. You talked to a Democratic member of Congress who will go nameless, is nameless in the piece, who says Buttigieg's appeal in 2020 as a fresh face who wanted to get past the divisions and move the nation forward. But this person says it's sad to see him become a partisan brawler on Twitter and cable news. He's become the most polarizing member of Biden's cabinet. So what is interesting to me about this is that I think there are a lot of ways that Democrats view Buttigieg as almost like a viral cable news stardom. When he goes on Fox News, a lot of Democrats who don't even really like him in other areas cheer that on. But this member seemed to think that that was actually a knock on him.
Yeah, I'm not sure that member is representative of a lot of the other Democrats in the party, and definitely not within the White House. I mean, the White House loves to have Secretary Buttigieg go across the cables, especially on Fox. You know, it's something he also did when he tried to make a run for the presidency, and they view him as one of their most effective communicators, even in a moment like this when they're dealing with the Ohio train derailment. I also just wanted to point out something when you played that Tucker clip. He used the words flamboyant and he used the words evil. We know what he's talking about there. He's talking about an openly gay man by calling him flamboyant and evil, which also speaks to what we have been talking about during the show, which is this larger message from Fox, from Republicans, in trying to attack LGBTQ and transgender people as their wider campaign message.
All right, I have to play this. This is from SNL, kind of spoofing exactly what you're talking about.
But your train exploded, and who do we blame? Who do we blame? We blame Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg. This was his responsibility. Unfortunately, he was too busy being a nerd and being gay to have dealt with the very much more important issue of should trains have big poison.
I mean, the fact that he is gay is such a huge part of this, right?
One of the things that I asked him about was the attention to the shoes that he was wearing there, and they were not work boots that he wore when he got to the train derailment site. They're boots. They're sort of fancy-ish boots. And he said to me that that was maddening, and his voice got a little tight as we were talking about this. And he said, it's just, when people are talking about things like that, when I'm trying to talk about people's lives and how to solve the problems here, said that these outlets need to make a choice, were his words, between whether they are covering fashion or whether they're covering policy, and whether they're covering what happens when people are trying to recover from a disaster like this.
Yes. And before you jump in, Eva, I mean, one of the broader points of all of this is this is the transportation secretary we're talking about. Most Americans have no idea who that person ever is. And here's Ray LaHood, a former transportation secretary himself, saying he's never heard of this level of criticism against another secretary ever. And I've been following this a long time. I've never seen it like this before. This is pure politics. It's politics because people think he's going to run for president. That's why.
And it is because of his identity, right? He can't change the fact that he is gay. And so many of these attacks are bad faith attacks. There's a tweet from a prominent conservative suggesting that him and his husband holding their children is everything that is emblematic of what's wrong with America. He can't do anything to really argue with that. Because the terms of the argument are not even fair. I will say, though, in his interview with you, I think it is good that he is being so publicly contrite and saying, listen, yeah, I did mess up here. And then steering the conversation back to the policy and saying, hey, but now that we have Republicans' attention, let's hold the railroads accountable, something that Republicans in the past have not championed. That's probably the only way forward on an issue like this one.
And to be clear, he did acknowledge that it was a misstep, not just on his part, but on the White House's part, to just not see the politics of this one coming when clearly this was getting picked up very heavily by conservative media as a political issue.